Welcome to the Teen Debaters Daily Debate, guys. Today's topic is exams are an outdated way to assess student potential, and Sai Sanap would be going for the motion, and Pari would be going against the motion. So, Sai, you have 3 minutes for your opening statements. Do you need a self count, or you're okay with your own self count?
I'm okay with my own self count. May I start? Okay. I'll start on my self count of three, two, one. Let me begin with a fact. Albert Einstein once said, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it is stupid. This is exactly what our exam system does. Our current system, especially in India and many parts of the world, still relies heavily on rote memorization, not real learning. Students are forced to cram information, reproduce it on paper, and then forget it, just to score marks. But can that single score truly represent their creativity, emotional intelligence, leadership, or problem-solving skills? Consider this. A 2020 study by the World Economic Forum ranked critical thinking, creativity, and emotional intelligence as the top job skills for the future. None of these are tested in traditional exams. In Finland, one of the best education systems in the world, standardized exams are almost non-existent until age 16. Yet, Finnish students consistently outperform others in the international assessments like PISL. Why? Because they focus on holistic development, not just testing memory. Exams also fuel anxiety. According to a 2022 NCERT report, nearly 81% of Indian students between ages 13 and 17 experience exam related stress. Is this kind of potential assessment we want? One that leads to breakdowns instead of breakthroughs. Moreover, talent has many forms. Some are great artists, some are skilled communicators, others are tech innovators. Exam only favor one type, the academic. This one size fits all system is obsolete in a world that celebrates diversity and innovation. We need continuous project based skill orientation evaluation, not outdated 3 hour memory contests. We need portfolios, group work, internships, and real world problem solving tasks that allow students to express their true potential. In a world changing faster than ever, it's time we stop measuring students by outdated tools. It's not the child who has failed, it's the system that has. Thank you.
Thank you. You still had about 50 seconds remaining, but never mind. Pari, you have 3 minutes to begin.
Okay, I'll start in the self count of five. Sorry, no, three, two, one, right. I stand firmly against the motion that exams are an outdated way to assess student potential. The proposition just delivered a passionate critique of the exam system as it exists today, and we agree there are flaws, but passion is not proof. And problems do not justify complete rejection. Are exams perfect? No. But are they obsolete and irrelevant? Absolutely not. In fact, exams remain one of the most fair, structured, and consistent assessments we have today. My first point, exams provide objective structure. Exams give students a clear and equal framework. Everyone gets the same paper, the same time, the same criteria, the same experienced teachers, and we now even have AI to help. Unlike projects or presentations which can be influenced by teacher bias, plagiarism, or parental involvement, exam test individual effort. They don't care about how fluent your English is or whether you had expensive tutors. They ask, do you understand the subject? Can you apply it under pressure? That's objectivity, that's fairness. My second point, exams build real world skills. The proposition loves to say exam doesn't reflect real life, but here's the truth. In the real world, you will face pressure. Whether it's a college entrance test, a job interview, a pitch, or a presentation, you'll have to think, focus, and deliver under time constraints. Exams train you for exactly that. They teach you to manage time, organize your thoughts, stay calm under stress, and those are not outdated skills. In fact, they're the most widely used skills in today's world, irrespective of career. They are skills for survival, especially in competitive careers. Yes, we support innovation in education, but let's not pretend that the alternatives are flawless. Project-based assessments sound great on paper, but in practice, projects can be done by parents or copied from the internet. Oral presentations favor confident speakers, not quiet thinkers. Continuous assessments risk bias or even teacher favoritism. And most importantly, the students who do learn and understand through memorization are overlooked by the proposition. Are you saying that they don't have just as much of a right to have a different method to learn? How do you scale those alternatives for 10 million students nationwide? Exams, when designed well, are efficient, fair, and scalable. And no, they don't have to stand alone. They can be blended with other tools like internal assessments, coursework, interviews, portfolios, and Viva Voces to give a fuller picture of student performance. Yes, the exam culture can be toxic, and yes, it does need change. But let's be clear, the problem is not exams, the problem is how we're using them. Improve the format, reduce the weightage and flexibility, blend them with alternate evaluations, but don't throw out the only tool we currently have that can be applied fairly across the country. In conclusion, exams are not outdated, they're evolving with time. When used properly and formatted properly, they remain a reliable, neutral, and essential method of assessing a student's skill, clarity,
Delegate
and
conclude.
let's reform, not reject them. Let's balance innovation with structure, not replace one extreme with another. Thank you.
Good speech right now. Okay, so Pari, are you like ready with your rebuttal speech?
Won't the proposition go first for rebuttal?
No, but actually in rebuttals the opposition goes first. But Sai, are you prepared?
Yeah, I'm prepared.
Yeah, okay. So right now you have 2 minutes. Begin.
Okay. I'll start on my self count of three, two, one. It is often claimed that exams are fair and structured and that they are best way to assess student ability. But is this really the case? Let's start with fairness. Exams reward students who can memorize and perform under time pressure. But what about students who learn differently or those who face anxiety during tests? Should their intelligence be judged by just one day's performance? Exams are also believed to be structured, but structured by whom? Many exams unintentionally reflect cultural or economic biases. Students who can afford private coaching or have access to better resources automatically have an advantage. Is that truly a level playing field? Supporters of exam also argue that they are widely used to test a range of skills. But how many real life skills are actually tested in a 3-hour written paper? Can an exam measure creativity, communication, teamwork, or leadership? Not really. Now, some say that projects aren't reliable because parents help or even complete them. That's a fair concern, but is that a reason to rely entirely on exams? Instead of scrapping projects, shouldn't we improve the way they are monitored and assessed? Perhaps through presentations, via voice, or in classwork. And let's not forget, exams can't assess everything. A student's true potential includes imagination, innovation, and practical skills, all of which are often lost in the exam hall. So I ask you, is one test one day enough to define a student's worth? Should academic success depend more on stress management and deep understanding? And if exams are so fair, why do so many bright students still fall through the cracks? Exams may be widely used, but that doesn't make them perfect or fair. It's time we rethought that true assessment rely means. Thank you.
Good speech. Pari, you have
Give
two
me 1
minutes.
minute.
Yep,
Give
works.
me 1 minute before. Okay, I'd like to start in the self count of three, two, one. Ladies and gentlemen, the proposition is attacking a very narrow version of exams, as if all exams are just board papers, memory drills, and stress machines. But exams aren't one thing. They're not just JEE or NEET. They include open book exams, collaborative assessments, practical tests, oral exams, and even group evaluations. So when they say exams are outdated, we ask, which exams? Because not all exams test rote memory and not all create toxic pressure. In fact, many exams are evolving just like education itself. If a student crams, forgets, and moves on, the exam didn't fail, the teaching and preparation failed. Don't blame the tool for how it's used. And when they bring up competitive exams, we agree the pressure is intense, but that's because of scarcity of seats, not the format of the exam. So, no, exams aren't outdated, they're evolving, they're diverse, and they're still in the fairest, most scalable tool we have. One second. If the system teaches students to memorize, then that's a teaching flaw, not a flaw in the exams themselves. They say we won't remember what we learned yesterday, but no one remembers every project or oral presentation either. Exams aren't meant to make facts permanent, they're meant to teach discipline, time management, and focus under pressure, skills that are very relevant in the real world. They've mentioned the pressure and anxiety exams cause. We agree it exists, but stress isn't unique to exams. Group projects, public speaking, continuous grading all cause stress too. Let's think about the quiet thinkers, not just the confident speakers. Do you expect them to do public speaking with all the effort as the confident speakers? You don't prepare students for life by removing pressure, you prepare them by teaching them how to handle it. In short, the proposition has made case for reform, not removal. Let's fix the system, not abandon of the only scalable, objective tools we have. Thank you.
Good speech. Okay, now we would be moving on to the question and answer round. Proposition, if you have any questions for you're free to ask.
So, if exams are the best way to assess potential, then why do so many successful people like Steve Jobs, Sachin Tendulkar thrive in life despite not excelling in exams? Shouldn't your perfect system have recognized their potential sooner?
Okay, I'd like to come to this question from a different mindset. Let's not cherry pick here because the only people in the world are not Sachin Tendulkar and Jeff Bezos. There are other people out there. There are people who learn through memorization. When you say, and we never mentioned that it was a perfect system. Yes, it is not a perfect system, but that doesn't mean you get to remove it completely. It requires reform, like any other educational system would as we move forward through life, right? Now, back to my previous point. The only people out there are not these type of people, right? Some people require memorization in order for them to learn and excel in exams, right? So we can't completely eradicate this part because that undermines their way of learning. Are we really saying that they don't deserve to excel in exams just because they have a different way of learning?
Yep. Okay. Good answer. No follow-ups would be granted. Pari, if you have any question for the proposition.
How would you scale project-based assessments across millions of students fairly when we don't already do not have enough staff for doing the projects we're already assigned?
Can you please repeat the question, please?
How would you scale project-based assessments across millions of students fairly when we already do not have enough staffage around the world?
Enough staffs.
Staffage, yes, staff.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I would like to give the answer of this question. See, um, like in school also, if you'll see that not enough of staff, but still teachers are teaching one or two more extra subjects. If I'm not wrong, in every school there is one teacher who teaches two or more three subjects, etc. So your question was, if I'm not wrong, is that to spread or to give the projects to everyone, and there is no staff, like limited staff is there, no? If I'm not wrong. Please proceed with your question.
Okay, what I mean by how do you scale project-based assessments when we don't have enough staffage is how are you planning to assess all these projects? First of all, make ideas for all these projects for every single chapter, for every single subject. Then how do you plan to scale this to all the millions of students out there? And I'm not taking her time, am I?
No.
Right? Okay.
No, I get.
Okay, so how do you plan to assess these projects when we quite clearly have teacher bias, could have teacher bias. AI is a tool that could be used to unfairly create projects that students aren't actually doing, right? So wouldn't that be unfair assessment as well? And the problem is with, since we don't have enough staffage, is that these projects that we're provided, they won't be efficiently corrected, right? Because teachers do not have enough time.
Yeah, but still there are many kinds of AIs who will do this work. Like if we are like putting and we are giving the correct prompt, then we can get that correct checking by the AIs, and also teachers are not getting the time. So tell me, how many teachers strictly check the paper? Because being an ICSE student, I really know that this board papers are checked very leniently. There are thousands, lakhs of students sitting in the exam hall writing the paper. The teachers are correcting the paper, and they are just leniently checking the paper. So, in fact, in conclusion, I would like to say that in papers also they are just checking, and in this also they will be checking, right?
Pari, do you need a follow-up?
Can I follow up?
Hmm.
Okay, great.
But
When you're
make the
saying that,
question very concise. You don't need to explain the question.
yes, yes, okay. When you say that they're checking papers leniently, and wouldn't this be a contradiction to your entire argument? You're saying that this is by changing the education system, by, for example, boards, we're assessing their individual talent, but when you say that the teachers correct these papers leniently, then isn't that going against your entire point?
Uh, Please, can you repeat that once again? Because yeah,
When you
I'm not.
say that when you say that teachers correct papers leniently,
Yeah.
but you also say that papers are meant for assessing talent, then how are these teachers assessing talent with their lenient checking?
No, I haven't said like that. Okay, the meaning was very different. So you are taking it to a very different way. I'm just saying that, like you just said that the what was that? Okay, let's move to like I'm proceeding forward. So you are saying that lenient people checking at all, and how can we like they are biased to us? Yeah. Please turn off your mic. You can like, is it okay if she's turning off
You
her
have
mic
to
because?
answer to me. I'm sorry, you just have to answer to me.
Okay, okay, okay. Yes,
Hi,
works.
excuse me.
So,
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, can I do in the further motion?
Actually, right now we're gone to like after this question, we are ending the debate right now.
Okay,
And
okay.
I'll just inform you about the things. Just wait. After let Asai answer her question.
Okay.
okay. So, like, see, I'm just like telling you, I'll not take more time now. I'm just telling that, see, papers are like we are giving, and the checking is also lenient and stuff. As you said, that we are doing the assessments and all given by the like anybody, we are doing that also. So the teachers or the staffs are limited, and then who will be checking that? So I would like to, really like to say that there are many platforms from which we can get our assessments or everything checked. And yeah, we can surely do that. And many, many websites or many AI platforms are getting generated, or they are like making these kinds of things where we can give our assessments or something, and they will just get our corrections done.
Yeah. Thank you. Now we would be ending the debate right now. Good debate. Let me announce the verdict though for today. The proposition spoke very well, but right now the opposition wins this debate right now. Now let me move on to the feedback right now. Firstly, with opposition, Pari, I mean, I've given you a lot of feedback since like various debates and other debate, other like what the host who are hosting these daily debates. The only thing which I noticed was, first of all, your speech was much better structured than the previous ones, and yeah, your voice modulation was better. Like where you want to put stress on some words, it was much better than the previous one. And yeah, moving towards Sai, again, your Your speech, I feel it was very good with proper facts, etc., the opening statements. While in the rebuttal speeches, you should have focused more on refuting the opponent's point, like what they actually mentioned, etc. And yeah, you could have probably won the debate. The only points you lost were answering the opposition's questions. But yeah, right now, as these are just practice debates, this doesn't matter. You guys could like slay in real debate competitions, etc., as there are like various debate competitions happening right now. And with that being said, yep, we end the debate right now. Okay, now who had a question? Wait, Yashvi, I believe, right? Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. What were you? Wait, let me just remove the recording.